Hello and welcome to Hot Indonesia, your weekly window into the world's fourth biggest country. I'm Dalton Tanaraka in Jakarta. Here is this week's H-I Hotlist. Status report. Is our stay-at-home policy working to stop the spread of the coronavirus, or do we need a lockdown? Dreams delayed. What does the postponement of the Summer Olympics mean for our athletes and the world? And ask us anything. We answer your questions directly on any subject you like. Now, here are my co-hosts each and every week. Sandrina Malakiano, former TV news anchor, now a political marketing consultant, small business owner. And Santiago Uno, former vice governor of Jakarta, business executive and gracious host, because we are again doing our show from Sandy's home to follow the government's request and properly distance, kind of a TV distance here. Thank you very much again, Sandy, and your wife, Noor, for your hospitality.
Thank you. Thank you for coming here.
Hot topic number one. Status report. Now, we are midway through the government's advisory to stay and work from home, but the number of cases of COVID-19 continues to rise, not unexpectedly. While other countries have imposed strict lockdowns, including the latest, India, with a 21-day order, Indonesia has yet to impose one. Now, I'm sure President Joko Widodo is considering a lockdown. He has to listen to advice. Now, businesses, as we know, are on their own, are closing down for the time being. Is what we are doing working? I again say we need a lockdown.
Yeah, I was looking at the number from the public transport department in Jakarta, whereby the number of travelers and commuters dropped from 1.1 million a day to now just under 200,000. So about 80% of people are basically adhering to the government decree for them to stay at home and
it's
work
not
from
mandatory.
home.
Let's make it clear.
That's not mandatory,
Yeah.
but more and more people now adhering, and the awareness is out there. But are we doing enough? The number of cases are increasing, and I was just received a model that was sent by the public health faculty in University of Indonesia, as well as some statistics modeling that basically confirm that the peak of number of cases in Indonesia is projected to happen around end of April or early May. So that is basically in accordance with what the government has ordered, that the status of emergency status will be at least until the end of May.
So we got a lot more up curve.
There will be up curve, and I guess the government is now starting to force a stricter directions for the people to stay at home, doing social distancing. Some of the traditional marketplace is closing down. The wet market, some of them are reducing their operations, and I think people are generally more aware.
Yeah, people are doing it on their own already. The malls are closing down. No one's ordered anybody, but then why shouldn't it be mandatory?
The president said for the time being, and the latest news that we've seen is that he's still underlining the fact that there will be no lockdown. It cannot be implemented that way in Indonesia.
Why not do we?
They're taking South Korea for an example. It's more suitable to be implemented here. But Dalton, I do agree that the government needs to be firm in this issue, because huge events, gatherings are still taking place. The Democratic Party had just recently had a huge gathering, 12th to 14th of March.
I was there at that hotel, actually, that night. I saw them there.
With hundreds of people. And HIPME actually also had a recent gathering with hundreds of
March, yeah.
That was the young entrepreneurs, right?
And what you need to know is that, like, the region of Karawang was there in one of those meetings, and she was tested positive, and a lot of people were there.
Why not from the top? The president say, let's do it before this curve gets even...
I think the president have indicated that they want the South Korea model of massive testing.
The difference is they did a lot of testing before so they didn't have to lock down. But we are not doing that kind of testing.
We're not doing it, but I think the test kits are arriving, and we're doing more and more tests. I'm sure there are a lot of undetected cases. Some modeling specialists place it at around maybe 70,000 undetected cases already in Indonesia. So with that, you see the numbers will continue to increase because as more people get tested, you have more confirmed cases.
Okay, now we talked about medical supplies. You touched on that. You know, there was a report recently about theft of masks in West Java. I mean, that's terrible. I mean, people got to
But the
look out for.
distribution of the test kits also.
Yeah, so the government has to step up more on this. We're getting help supplies from China. They had a plane load coming in, right? But there's got to be more national coordination again, to me, and make sure that people get what they need.
Yeah, and this is where the solidarity, the gotong royong, helping each other, really, which is the core value of being Indonesians, is being called about how you could help distributions of the protective gears, for instance. Now there's a calling for some of the people at the front line, the medical staffs, the medical, basically the medics who are making sure that more and more people are being treated, is no longer getting the suitable protective gears, and they're doing it makeshift. I've seen people using plastic, and that's something that we need to put more effort and emphasis upon.
Sure, and we'll talk more about this later, but one last thing, you know, travel restrictions for those watching outside of this country. Now you will need a visa before you come here from your nearest Indonesian embassy or consulate, wherever you live. No more visa-free, visa on arrival programs, and you need to be healthy or expect to be quarantined.
And the governor here, at least from Jakarta, Governor Anies already issued also basically a 3 weeks no travel for people who are in the city to outside Jakarta, and for people from outside
See,
Jakarta.
that's what I
to
mean.
come
We're
in.
doing all these things piecemeal. The president should just say, hey, from the top, let's lock down 2 weeks, try to rid this thing, get the incubation period done, and move forward. But that's me. Okay. Hot Indo will continue shortly with dreams delayed. What will the postponement of the Tokyo Olympics mean to our athletes? You're watching Hot Indonesia with Sandrina, Sandy, and me. Here's hot topic number 2, dreams delayed. The decision was inevitable, and it came this week that the 2020 Summer Olympics in Tokyo postponed until sometime next year. Organizers in Japan had hoped against hope that this wouldn't happen, but without an end in sight to the coronavirus crisis, it had to be done. $20 billion already spent, another $5 billion estimated to delay.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and I can't imagine what the athletes are feeling right now.
Relieved. I heard many are relieved.
Relieved, but also disappointed.
Sure.
For sure.
But they couldn't train until now, right?
Yeah, but I think it's the best. We've seen people just dying everywhere now in every part of the world. Now it's shifting to the US as the epicenter from Europe because the growing number of cases there is crazy, doubling every 3 days. And you don't know where this is heading. The Olympics is a huge event, but I'm dealing with real cases like as small as my daughter, who has been at home, and they've been looking forward towards prom for so long. They're looking forward towards having a great gathering before they go to university. Now everything is gone. Their dreams are scattered.
So you have no problem with the Olympics? That's far away from you.
Yes, I mean for sure, but really, like everybody is getting hit by this and getting hit hard.
But you know, this is a big global thing, yeah? I mean, it is.
I know.
It wasn't easy to do.
I'm not really sure if my daughter can even go to the US to go for university now. There's no certainty.
Now, Indonesia has already said, as you know, Sandy, that it supports the decision. Athletes had already qualified in the Indonesian Olympic team. Badminton, track and field, archery, weightlifting, shooting are traditionally strong sports. Now, this has to affect the team because world-class athletes peak. They train to peak, and they were peaking for the summer games, and now you got to delay it a year. It's hot.
First of all, it's the right decision. You got to hand it over to you have to appreciate what the Japanese government and the IOC, they must really having really hard times to decide, but I think it's the right decisions. You put the health and safety of all, not only athletes but spectators, and putting in 2021, yes, it's going to be a very busy, because every single big events are going to be postponed to 2021. But I guess for athletes themselves, you're right, they're training to peak at the games, and now you have to sort of like reprogram so the athletes can pick in 2021. It's a tough decisions, but I guess the right decisions to prevent something bad really happening. Sandrina talked about prom. My daughters just graduated, and the graduations celebrations, or the commencement, is going to was supposed to take place end of April, early May. Now it's canceled also. So she's now at work.
It's
she
a
said,
big thing.
Yeah, it's a big thing. She said, well,
You never regain it. You never can relive it.
I may not be able to do the walk, but I'm grateful that the event is postponed. So yeah, people just have to take it day by day. It's a tough decisions. No Olympics has been postponed before,
Except
even during the war, I think.
World War II, 1940, canceled because
Yeah.
of the war.
Cancelled, not postponed.
Ironically, who was the country hosting? Japan.
Japan.
Yeah. Indonesia has submitted a bid. It's already in officially to the Summer Olympics 2032.
32.
So we got to kind of take notes of what's happening and expect the unexpected. You got to
Yeah,
factor in everything. No one thought this would ever happen.
We've gone through the 2018, and I was at the City Hall that time. I was sitting with Eric Tohir, who was chairman of the game, and we were thinking about Black Swan event. So this is a Black Swan event. We never thought about it, but pandemic was one of the scenarios that we were running.
Really?
But not a global pandemic, but like a small outbreak of diarrhea of that because of the food and stuff like that. That's one of the scenario planning that we went through. So yeah, I guess we have gone through this coronavirus for our 2032 bid. We need to make sure that all Black Swan events are identified from early on.
Yeah, you know, we're not Olympic athletes. Sandy's the closest of
No,
all
no,
of us.
no,
But
I'm not even close to
Looking
that.
at the bigger picture, I mean, the Olympics are supposed to bring the world together, you know, in sportsmanship, and it's a good feel kind of thing. And now it's not going to happen. So besides the economic impact, it's kind of a psychological blow for the world this year. I mean, the world is getting punched around in 2020, and hopefully when it turns around, good feelings will just come flowing. I mean, little things like proms and commencement.
But Dalton, for the first time now, we used to have this saying, united we stand, divided we fall. But now it's the other way around. United we fall, and we have to stay together, stay apart, I mean, in order to survive and get through this.
That song, we're all in this together, we're all in this apart together, or, you know I think people get the meaning.
It's tough time, really tough time.
Okay, more Hot Indo is ahead. Ask us anything, and we mean it. You're watching Hot Indonesia from Jakarta. Here's topic number 3, ask us anything. And you know what? We mean that. We've been soliciting your questions on any subject, including coronavirus, which we will now do our best to answer. You guys ready for this?
Hopefully.
Okay. Now, the first question is from Helena in Jakarta.
How does the government respond and ensure that protective equipment for medical workers in battling COVID-19 will be all distributed evenly throughout Indonesia, including small cities?
Okay, thanks for that question, Helena. We touched on this about the medical supplies getting to the right people. How do
Yeah.
we ensure that? You're in government, Sandy. How do you ensure that?
This is where leadership being called, whereby the government will have to put a massive effort, not only by themselves, but in conjunctions with the help from private sectors as well, and with communities. to make sure that this is going to be done on a very efficient and effective basis.
Okay, our next question comes from Buddy in the U.S. state of Texas.
What is your situation as far as grocery shopping goes for customers to go get some groceries in Jakarta?
You know, it sounds like a minor thing, but it's a big thing. In the States, what Buddy is referring to, from what I know, in certain stores, you have to stay 6 feet away, 2 meters away from the next shopper. You have to line up outside the store. Only 10 at a time are allowed in certain stores.
Not happening here.
We're not doing that at all. So, Buddy,
It's
all I got to
business
say
as
to you is,
usual here.
grocery stores are still open, but we're trying to do our own thing again, and maybe that's got to change as well. Yeah. Okay.
Hi there, I'm Sophie Sui from oldest Italian restaurant in Singapore, Pasta Brava and Sophie Cafe. Just want to send my love to everyone and also to check how do the people in Indonesia and government support and help F&B or retail business in such a challenging time.
Oh, small business owner?
Yeah, well, the Hotel and Restaurants Association of Indonesia have about a few weeks ago, before it was actually formally announced here that we had a positive case, have put forward a request to the Ministry of Tourism for the government to, for the time being, let all this business in the hotel and restaurant to not pay the taxes for the business, the local taxes, and also for the taxes cut for the employees.
Only hotels?
Hotels and restaurants.
Oh, okay. Like yours.
Like mine, but that hasn't happened.
So we really need to do more for small businesses.
Yes.
The businesses that are still running, more and more are closing every day, but they're
Yes.
offering takeout and delivery services to at least keep their operation running. People don't have to go. So what I can say is, Sophie, that here in Indonesia, what we're trying to do is support our small business by doing as much takeout and home delivery as you can.
We at our homes, we no longer cook. We basically
to support small business.
to support small business. We order takeaways.
But
Okay.
it's not
Very cool.
covering.
Not
Not
covering.
Yeah, now, of
covering
course, it
at all.
doesn't cover your expenses, but those trying to hang in there, we got to support them.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next question now comes from our neighbor, KL, Kuala Lumpur, Alan in Kuala Lumpur.
President Jokowi announced 10 trillion rupiah in aid for those in the informal sector. Is there sufficient data available to the government to ensure that this aid goes to those who really deserve it so that it's not open to abuse? And also, is 10 trillion rupiah really enough for a country as huge as Indonesia?
Okay, 10 trillion rupiah, that's about $600 million. Sandy, is it enough?
Not enough, not even close whatsoever. I would, if I were the government, if I were to advise the government, I would do a 200 trillion rupiah package, which is going to be named the biggest ever package that the Indonesian government will have to hand it over to the people at the bottom of the pyramid. The
That's
bottom
20 times
40%.
what they're doing. That's
Yeah, basically we need to do maybe 25% to small businesses to make sure that they continue to employ people. We do 25% for the unemployment benefits, people who lost their job, and this is where the pre-employment or prakerja initiatives that the government is introducing, mainly in the hard-hit areas like Bali, Jakarta, and some of the rural areas that will need for the unemployment benefits. 25% focus on basically the direct transfers to the people, put the money in their pocket to make sure that they feel safe in case you do a lockdown. And the final 25%, 50 trillion, is for the financial sectors. So with this, you will have the impact.
Next question from Dion in Bali.
I have a question for the three of you. What did you learn after you stay at home for the past weeks?
What did we learn? It's
TikTok.
not easy. TikTok?
TikTok.
Okay. I haven't seen your TikToks yet.
No,
You've been posting?
No.
I gotta learn to spend more time with my kids now. It's quite hard, and you know, I got to know my wife a lot better.
That's good. She appreciates you being home.
I hope so.
Okay. Now we got a couple more questions. Let's do a couple quick ones, quick answers here. Our next question is from Bruce In the UK,
We often see that people are afraid of losing face and they can't make the decision to do something because they're afraid of failure, this fear of failure because what it will mean. Do you think that that is changing for the younger generation, including in Indonesia, that there isn't so much a fear that nanti, kehilangan muka begitu?
okay, and the last part of that, Bruce's question, if you don't speak Indonesian, talks about later you don't want to lose face. Same kind of point. Is that a problem? I mean, Sandy's younger generation political leader and
Usually the
political
younger
marketing
ones
consultant.
are braver. They could make like blunt decisions. Popularity, of course, is always number one in the political arena. But yeah, I mean, it's about time now. It's like taking medicine. The bitter ones help you get better quicker.
You advise your clients to make decisions, right? Obviously.
Yes,
Yeah.
I mean, do it the right thing, not don't sweet talk the people to just save your face.
And Sandy doesn't need to be prodded. He does it. He makes you.
Yeah, I would make because you are not making decisions for another elections. You have to do what the right thing and doing it right, and basically people will definitely appreciate what younger leaders make decisions.
Yeah, it's a
easier.
generational kind of thing
Yeah.
too, right? It's a cultural generational thing. Okay, this question, interesting, from a woman named Charlie, an Indonesian in Milan, which is one of the epicenters of the world. Let's hear her question.
We have been locked down here for 1 month, and luckily we do have abundant food of supply here and without the high price. And my question is, what would the government of Indonesia do to secure the food supply and also not increasing the price for people?
Okay, first we wish Charlie and everyone in Italy and across the world, but particularly in Milan, good health and hope things improve soon. I mean, what can you say about this?
You just need to make sure this is one of the top priorities of the government is to make sure that food supplies is there, well distributed at the prices that is affordable to the people. And the messaging needs to be very, very clear that even if we have to import, we will do it because the first and foremost priority is for the people.
Okay, one more question let's take, and this is from Paul in Singapore.
Question is regarding social distancing. In the Indonesian culture, how difficult will it be to maintain social distancing as the country and everywhere tries to recover from COVID?
We talked about this before. You said how hard it was for you when you go to things.
Yeah, but it goes back again to how the government addresses this issue. If you firmly say that you should not, it shouldn't be an advice, it should be a firm ruling.
So you and I agree then, a lockdown maybe.
Because that people are taking it lightly.
Yeah. And they can't
still
blame
go
you for
out.
not being sociable, right? That's the point. Too.
I mean, like, people are still going out. Coming here, it was just like, there's no traffic jam, but so many people are outside and they're still sitting together, gathering as if nothing's happening.
So the point is, culturally, we like to get together here, but you got to stop that, especially at this time.
They don't understand the urgency, I guess.
And that's education from the government. Okay, we do love your feedback. We thank everybody for the questions. Here's how to contact us with your comment or question, either in text or video form from now on. Email us at hotindo@theindonesiachannel.com or send us your thoughts through our Hot Indonesia or Indonesia Channel, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube pages. Final words from Sandrina.
To all of those watching this, we wish you well. Stay safe, stay healthy, and take a look around you, no matter how small. Share what you have. Get in touch with people that you know and ask them if you could lend them a helping hand.
Final words, Sandy.
I would like to send all of us deep condolences to Pak Jokowi for the passing of the beloved mother. We do keep her in our thoughts and prayers.
Okay, and my final words now. While staying at home at this time, it's a chance to take care of stuff, like you've been putting off. Clean up, throw out, tidy up, but of course stay in touch with others. But how's this? I asked my singer friend to send out a daily 30-second clip of her favorite song. That would brighten anybody's day. It brightens mine. Okay, and that is Hot Hot Indonesia for this week from Sandy's home. I'm Dalton Taranaka, Sanjino Malacano, Santiago Uno. Join us next time.